Well, good morning. We are back in the Smoky Mountains. By we, I mean myself and my wife Casey.
Hello.
And we're going for kind of a winterish hike. It is the end of December, but it is so warm. So warm. Last year, it was really cold when we were here at the same time last year. But man, yesterday it was in the mid 60s. Today it's in the 50s. And we definitely overdressed. We already shed a bunch of layers and are now just down to basically our pants and our shirts. We're doing kind of an interesting trip. So Casey and I are doing an overnight trip over to campsite 24 on the Little River Trail. Right now we're taking the Sugarland Mountain Trail up to Rough Creek. I will show you a map later. And then on day 2, I am continuing on solo to campsite 28. Again, I'll show you a map. But we're going to meet my father-in-law, her dad, on day number 2.
Happy?
And they are going on a hike back to where we parked. So it's a win-win for everyone. Casey and I get to go on a backpacking trip together. She gets to go on a hike with my father-in-law, her dad, and I get to continue on for a 3-day trip.
And our daughter gets to go to Dollywood.
And our daughter gets to go to Dollywood.
Emily called me right here.
So we are a bit worried about blowdowns today. We are hiking on the newly reopened Sugarland Mountain Trail. I think it opened up back in fall sometime, right? And it was closed for about 2 years due to fire damage from the wildfire they had a couple years ago. And it rained a lot yesterday. So there are probably a lot of dead trees still on the trail from the fire in loose soil, so we're a little concerned about that. So we're going to have to be a little extra vigilant. Speaking of water, I mentioned this area got a lot of rain yesterday, and there are 3 creek crossings on the Rough Creek Trail that you do have to just walk right through. So we're wondering what the water level is like in those. Now the guidebook says that despite its name, Rough Creek is actually pretty mellow. So we're hoping that it stays that way today. My money is on it's probably going to be okay. Famous last words. Casey's giving me a bad look right now. So we'll see. Well, like I said, you got to be cautious on the Sugarland Mountain Trail. Yesterday, sadly, a hiker actually died. Got hit by a tree that fell over. So, widowmakers are serious business. You've got to be cautious. So we found some bear cables, but there is no actual campsite here. I had forgotten that there used to be a campsite on the Sugarland Mountain Trail between Husky Gap and Rough Creek, but they moved the campsite to some other location off the Sugarland Mountain Trail. But still kind of cool to see. There's a stream running right through the campsite. So maybe that's why they changed it.
Or the fire.
Or the fire. I'm helping you by documenting your mistakes.
My mistakes.
Why did you grab that giant?
I only have one hiking pole.
So, in one of my videos, I talked about my top 3 hiking pet peeves, and one of them was littering. And we found a 3/4 pounder M&M's bag. Did you have any idea they had M&M bags that big?
Now my question is, are the M&Ms larger?
So we are going to pack that out because, you know, some jerk left it here. Oh, we're taking a much needed break. We're trying out a few pieces of new gear on this trip. I got this Outdoor Research Helium 2 rain jacket from my in-laws. Thank you, in-laws. And I'm also trying out some new shoes. These are the Altra Lone Peak 3.0 Neoshell. They're mid-hiking shoes, and they're waterproof. They have a waterproof liner on the outside of them. And I was really using these because I thought we were preparing for really winter wet conditions. It is supposed to be wet the next couple of days, but it really feels like springtime. It is so warm out here. Oh, it sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm not really complaining. So the interesting thing about these Neoshells is that they have the waterproofing on the outside of the shoe instead of having like an inner waterproof membrane. So the benefit of that is that the outside of the shoe doesn't get all wet and heavy by soaking up a lot of water. But I am a little concerned about the possibility of maybe damaging the outside waterproof membrane because I've been tripping over lots of rocks and roots and whatnot. So I don't know how much that membrane on the outside is going to hold up. But once we do get some rain, I will let you know if my feet get wet. What are you eating, Casey? Yeah. Is it good? Delicious? Great. Well, I know what she's eating because I lovingly made her lunch this morning. It is my secret recipe of peanut butter and a banana inside a wrap. Genius. And I am eating a meal replacement bar. I've never really been one to have a big lunch on the trail. I just don't like doing that. So I'm hoping that maybe this will keep me full throughout the rest of the afternoon, but not feel all, gross and full of food.
How's it taste?
Not bad. Ooh, that's a pretty one. And a steep drop. So we're getting close to Rough Creek. Maybe another mile and a half. And we passed a hiker that just came that way, and he did say that the creek is passable in the 3 locations where you have to cross. You do have to wade through water, but it's doable. 2.8 miles on Rough Creek Trail. And that guy we passed telling us about Rough Creek, he also said there's a lot of thorns and brambles in Rough Creek. And his legs were all chewed up. He was wearing shorts, so we'll see what it's like. Might have to slap on our rain pants for a little extra protection.
I can't believe this trail is open. It doesn't even look like a trail.
Ugh. Well, this trail is indeed crazy overgrown. You all right there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Ooh.
Almost went down that mountain.
There's just stuff everywhere, and this is relatively easy compared to what we just did.
This trail should not be open right now.
Trying not to follow too closely to KC because I've already gotten whacked in the face with 1 or 2 branches. Yeah. Get off my trekking pole. Whew. This has to be one of the most overgrown trails we have ever hiked. My God. But I hear Rough Creek, or at least I assume that's Rough Creek, so we should be coming to the first creek crossing pretty soon. There have so far been many an F-bomb on this trail. Wow. I didn't realize we could curse like that. Casey, it's YouTube. Don't curse. We have owies.
Mm-hmm.
Your owie's bigger than my owie.
I just bleed more.
So we're at our first creek crossing of Rough Creek. It does look kind of rough, but I think what we're going to do is go through here, up along there, and onto those rocks over there. It looks hardest right here, but over there it doesn't look too deep, and doesn't seem to be flowing as much. The rest of it, however, is kind of rough. Well, we did indeed make it through that first crossing without any major injuries. And I do apologize that I did not film any of that for you. Let's just say that half of this party is a tad bit fussy about crossing these creeks. So, yeah. So I started off looking a lot more colorful this morning, but as I mentioned earlier, it is really warm today. So I have shed a lot of layers, and now I kind of look like a ninja. See? Or maybe a secret agent. No, I like ninja better. You know, as difficult as this trail has been, there are a lot of pretty things to see. Well, this was the hardest of the 3 water crossings. Whew. So we came from there, kind of went right through this way. So yeah, that was definitely the sketchiest one, but we made it. We're on the Little River Trail now. So it should be about another 0.4 miles or so to the campsite. And man, oh man, it could not come too soon because we are so done with this. And the Little River Trail is actually a little river trail. Look at that. We made it! Well, it is not really, it's not really 0.4 miles. It's pretty much immediately after you come to that trail intersection. It's right there. So we're scoping it out now, seeing where we want to sleep. Feels good to be done for the day. First thing that we're addressing is our wet feet. Do not want to be setting up camp and wet socks, so changing out our socks and we'll be good as new. I also got a bigger owie. I kind of slipped on one of those water crossings as I was coming up a rock and smacked my leg on it, so nothing a Band-Aid won't fix. Well, let's show you around camp before it gets too dark. Got a nice fire ring over here. Bear cables up there. What? And a stream. Get some water. Casey is filtering water right now. And let's go show you the tents. So as usual, Casey is in the Tarp Tent Pro Trail. And I am in the Six Moon Designs Gatewood Cape with Serenity Net Tent. Well, I don't know how we do it, but every single time we manage to both squeeze into a one-person tent. Man. And we have 2 full-size winter pads with us this time. Didn't think we were going to do it, but we did. Sorry I didn't take a whole ton of camp videos. Maybe tomorrow morning. We were really, really grumpy. It was a tough, tough day of hiking. I am so happy to be laying down. How about you?
I'm so glad to be warm and dry.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, good night. We will see you in the morning. Well, good morning. Day number 2. I am making some tea. Casey's over there filtering some water. And we did end up sleeping in separate tents last night. It started to rain. And even though you can kind of squeeze 2 people in that one-person Tarp Tent Pro Trail, once it starts to rain, your pads are really kind of up against the sides of the bug mesh, which touches the ground, so you're most likely going to get soaked. So we played it safe and just slept in separate tents. And we'll see what happens today. My right knee is killing me, so it doesn't hurt right now, but yesterday it was really hurting. So once we start hiking, we'll see how I feel and if I actually can complete day number, not 2 and 3. 2 today, 3 tomorrow. I can still count.
Morning.
How'd you sleep?
Better than I ever have. I think it was the river. Although I was concerned about the creek over there and the river over there breaking their banks and flooding our campsite last night. That would have been very unpleasant.
I, however, was not concerned about anything, and yet I still could not sleep. So maybe I should just be a little more worried. Well, I am eschewing my normal warm breakfast for hot fudge sundae Pop-Tarts. It wasn't a heavy rain last night. It was more of just a constant drizzle. And just like yesterday, everything's pretty much soaked. And all our gear is soaked, tent is soaked. A lot of condensation, so sleeping bag is soaked. I knew there was going to be a lot of condensation even without the rain. You know, we're right next to a couple streams and, you know, that's just going to happen. I'm still not sure about today and tomorrow, even without all the whole knee pain issues. I think Casey said it best that yesterday took a very big psychological toll on us. So I don't know if I need to just go back home or back to the car, just push through and do another day or 2, or maybe I just need to sit down and cry somewhere. How's the tea?
It's delicious. It's great to be warm.
You're not as funny as you are in real life.
Psychological toll.
So I didn't show you this last night because it was too dark, but one of my other Christmas gifts is this chainsaw camp saw that you can use to chop up wood. I did try it last night and it works pretty well because I did try to start a fire, and of course, in typical fashion for me, I failed. But I do want to at least show you how to use this on some logs. So it's pretty easy. You just wrap it around any kind of log or stick that you want to cut, and it has these 2 webbing handles. Just kind of put some downward pressure on it and saw. And it works in both directions, so you can saw pretty quickly. Except for when it gets stuck. Aha! So, works pretty well. Not without giving you a workout, but it's a great way to warm up at camp at night. And yeah, just use these little chainsaw blades. And again, you can cut in both directions, so it makes it pretty quick. I like this thing. My other Christmas present, as you may have seen in one of my other videos, is this Mora Eldris knife. And I mostly wanted to use this to make wood shavings and feather sticks to make for tinder. And a helpful viewer left me a comment to a very good video on how to properly make feather sticks. I did watch it, so thank you for that. But it did not help because I really suck at making that. So I definitely need more practice with this thing. And like I said, I did not start a fire last night. But that's okay. Practice makes perfect, right? I think I need a lot of it. And what would camping be without my beloved bacon jerky? This just makes everything better. Oh, so by the way, I should clarify. I didn't actually try and fail to make a fire. I didn't even really try. I was cutting up some wood using that saw and trying to make some feather sticks with that knife. That I failed at. But I didn't even try to light anything. Everything was just so wet, and I still needed to collect a lot more wood, and I was just way too tired and lazy. I did not feel like doing it, so yeah. I succeeded at not trying. So one thing I wanted to show you with this Serenity Net Tent from Six Moon Designs. So I could never get this zipper off the ground very much. You know, in the photos it shows it to be more kind of like this. But when I have it hooked up at the top here in this hook, like you're supposed to, yeah, I could never get it better than this. And this is completely up. I have it above 115 centimeters right now, so it's as high as I could really go. So what I've started to do, they also include this little Velcro strap that you can use when you're just using the net tent by itself, and I tend to just Velcro that to a couple of these lines up here, so it lifts up the net tent a little more. So you can see now it's a little bit better. Not much, but it does help. And now on to the thing that Casey and I both hate most. Cleaning up. I wonder if I could pay someone to come with us just to clean up after ourselves. Kind of like a cleaning Sherpa. By the way, Casey just reminded me, we're hiking during the government shutdown. This whole place is shut down. Although actually, you would never even know it because there are still plenty of hikers on the trail. The Great Smoky Mountains Association is actually still keeping some of the bathrooms and even the Sugarland's Visitor Center and a few others.
Open-a-lifting.
Yeah, whatever she said. Keeping a few visitor centers open, and there's even some park rangers at those locations. So that's pretty cool, at least through January 1st, I believe, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, so you can definitely still hike in the Smokies and most other national parks, even during the government shutdown. The biggest frustration potentially that you'll have to deal with is road closures. So if there's a blowdown or there's snow, they're not necessarily going to be plowing the roads or clearing them out. We were fortunate, everything was fine for us, but something to keep in mind if you're visiting a national park and there might be that issue. What'd I miss?
Thank you to the national park workers who are here right now. We really appreciate you working right now.
Here, here!
There you go.
Casey is preparing for our trip to the moon. I guess this is Casey's idea of putting away the camp chair. Well, we're all packed up, ready to go. One final check of the campsite. Seems good. Let's get out of here. So campsite 24 appears to have 4 different sites, and I kind of wish we had seen this one yesterday because look, it is right next to this cool creek. Right next to it. How pretty is that? Wow. So as you can see, there is another water crossing right after campsite 24. Casey is currently navigating the water crossing, and she did a fantastic job! Just when I thought I was done taking my shoes off on this trip. Oh, this is going to be so cold. Well, I am going to try to film at least one water crossing for you. Man, that's cold! Ugh. Ugh. Gah. Gah. Mother. Wow. Ah. Oh man, there is no such thing as too many dry socks on this trip, which we don't have anymore. Well, one other stream crossing, except we were able to rock hop this time, came from over there, and then we went down these rocks, up over here, and then here we are. Stuff is just never ending on this trip. My goodness. Oh, what a wonderful sight. Man, oh man, do I love bridges. So these Altra Lone Peak Neoshells that I've been using, I've really liked them so far. As far as I can tell, they have actually been waterproof. My feet have only gotten wet when I've been crossing streams, and they're really comfortable. I should say that I hate boots. Let me say that again. I hate boots. Anything that is at my ankle or above, I just cannot stand them. Oh, it's so uncomfortable for me. But these have been great. I mean, I don't even really notice that they're wrapped around my ankle. They're so comfortable. And a wide foot box just like all the other Altras. So, yeah, so far so good. I forgot to mention that Casey is also trying out some new Dirty Girl Trail Gaiters. Fancy.
I love them.
And some pink waterproof socks. How have those been working?
Well, my feet are definitely dry. They keep the water out, but they're not warm, so my toes are still hurting. But then again, submerging one's feet in low 40-degree temperature water over and over again, I'm not sure really what would have kept my feet warm.
You know, despite all the challenges of the past 2 days, both physical and mental, this really is such a beautiful place. and I will take a tough, crappy day on the trail over a boring day at home any day. Wow. So, so beautiful. So my knee is acting up again. Not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make my final decision about whether or not I'm gonna continue on to do a day number 3 tomorrow once we meet up with her dad. So stay tuned. Hello! We made it!
Eli Kazan here wants to film you. Eli Kazan here wants to film you.
Oh, yes.
So, slight change of plans. Instead of Casey and her dad going back to where we parked along Sugarland Mountain Trail, they are walking with me on Cucumber Gap to where my father-in-law parked. Because, well, Casey just doesn't want to do those extra miles today, and feet are cold and wet, and I don't blame her. I still have not decided whether or not I'm going to continue on and camp tonight, or just head home with them. But I have 2.4 miles to decide, so we shall see.
We didn't take his shoes off. He's trying to stay dry.
That's not gonna work.
No way.
He knows that the trail's to the right. Oh, there he goes. Good job.
Well, another slight change of plans. We did not want to cross over that stream at Cucumber Gap Trail, so we're heading back, and then we're going to take Little River Trail, which should be totally fine, back to Elkmont. Well, I have decided to continue on and finish my trip. So Casey just left with her dad, and I'm hiking up Jake's Creek Trail now. Well, on second thought, my knee is still really killing me, so I'm actually headed back to the car right now. I didn't make it very far on Jake's Creek Trail, so at least I don't have far to walk. But, yeah. Whew. It's been an interesting trip. I wouldn't call it fun. Rewarding, sure. Challenging, definitely. But, still a good time. Still glad that we came out here. Well, thank you so much for watching. I would say to stick around another minute for bloopers, but this entire trip has felt like one big blooper. But stick around anyway and watch a few of those. And if you enjoyed this hiking video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. And when you're out there on the trail the next time yourself, have fun out there. Well, I promised I would show you the map, and even though I'm no longer on the trail, better late than never, I suppose. So Casey and I parked here at the Sugarland Mountain Trail trailhead, and we took the Sugarland Mountain Trail up past Husky Gap, and then all the way to Rough Creek, and then Rough Creek Trail where we did those creek crossings, to Little River Trail, and then right off of that is Campsite 24 where we stayed for the night. And then the next day we hiked up Little River Trail over to this intersection here where we met my father-in-law, and then we hiked on Cucumber Gap a little bit up until this creek crossing here, which we didn't want to go through, so we hiked back to the Little River Trail and took that to Elkmont. And then I continued on to the Jake's Creek Trail up to only about here, and that's when my knee was really starting to bother me, so I hiked back down and went back. So that was the plan. But I was planning on going up Jake's Creek Trail over to Myrie Ridge Trail, then over to Lynn Camp Prong Trail to campsite 28. So that was the map. Thanks again for watching. Or, no, that's not right. Although I'm farting a lot right now. So it kind of tastes like a fart cookie. And my chair is sinking. We're on the little...
I'm gonna throw your phone in the river.
Day.
Man, this wood is stinky.
Casey is preparing for our... Definitely not going to be able to see this. Well, anyway. Now screw it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hwah! Oh. Just keep messing up, don't I?